What's going on, everybody? Look, check it out. It didn't take 5 weeks to get another video. So, uh, first off, fireworks last night were fun. Me, Skylar, mom, and Skylar's friend AG went to the Hernando fireworks for the first time. Very chill. I enjoyed that part of it. Just bring some camping chairs, sit down and chill. And there's no really bad seat in the field here. Uh, but 15 minutes of actual fireworks, and we'll say the finale wasn't amazing as I'm used to in other areas, but it was still fun hanging out with the crew and just chilling, you know, maybe a little ants on the ground causing some trouble, but no bugs, no mosquitoes. Hot, yes, but all in all, it was a good night. Next year, we won't go quite as early, but the fireworks started right at 9 o'clock sharp. So it's a good time. And now I know how it works. So next year, I'll prepare better for it and maybe go a little earlier and get a better spot and bring a cooler of drinks and make it more of an event. So it was a good time. I did roll some video of the fireworks, and I ended up stopping in the middle of it and had to restart it. And I don't know, it didn't seem overly exciting either. So I was going to post it. But the other thing is also what I was worried about is someone was playing music in the background. They were playing patriotic, like Born in the USA, Bruce Springsteen, that song, ROCK in the USA by John Cougar Mellencamp. They were playing all kinds of these songs that were patriotic in a way. And I was afraid YouTube would catch on to that in the background and it could possibly block the video. So it is what it is. It was a good time, and looking forward to the next one. So what I really want to talk about today is this new development I have, and that is my business as a whole is getting another good upgrade. And by that, I mean, I have leased office space and we'll be putting together a nice little modest podcast studio / office. And I have been working on this for a little while. Started looking, 6 weeks ago, at least. And it's been on my mind forever. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. And then finally came across someone when I was just in passing saying, hey, yeah, I'm looking for some office space. I think I'm looking for some, just throwing it out there. And just so happened that the lady I was talking to, who her name is Kim Daly, she owns City Hall Cheesecake here in Hernando. And it was actually when I was recording an interview with her for my podcast, The Real Hernando. Come to find out her husband owns this big building right downtown. She's like, he leases office space, should call him. So I did. And nice guy, leased out, had nothing available. But when I started asking questions and realized how it worked to get just a room and what that would cost, it made it brought me closer to reality. It brought it closer to my reality as far as being something that I could possibly do. For whatever reason in my mind, I always pictured brick and mortar. So you hear about business goes brick and mortar, like I needed some kind of storefront. No, that's big time commercial leasing. I just need a room. So then I realized, oh, there's options out there. This is more feasible than I realized. So then I just started calling all over the city. And what I couldn't find online, I would get a referral from one person to call this other person, and that person would tell me to talk to this other person. And I followed the bunny trail for as far as I felt like I could go and kind of exhausted all options. I found 2 spaces, but they're huge, like 3-room office spaces. One I looked at was really awesome. 3 rooms, little kitchenette, its own bathroom. It's all, you leased all of that at once. So obviously it's 1,000 square feet. So that's an expensive lease, but then you're on the hook for all the utilities. So it just was too big anyway. I didn't need that space. Where you can find share spaces. So you get a room that's yours. You can lock it and everything. You have a room, but then it's shared or among other rooms where then you all share a kitchen. You all share the bathrooms. You all share a little common area. Some of these places will also have a conference room that you can schedule and request and use. So that way your rent's down. You still get your private space, but you're not on the hook for any of the utilities minus internet. That's standard. You always got to provide your own internet. So that's really what I wanted, and nothing open. So I finally hit a wall, and I was basically kind of scheduling follow-ups where I had a list of all these contacts that I was calling. And I was like, well, I'm going to follow up with each one of these people periodically over time. And I'll follow up with this one in 3 weeks, the next one in 4 weeks, so on and so forth, just to check in. Hey, do you have a space open yet? Because I knew they weren't going to call me. So that was my plan. And that's kind of where I was 2 weeks ago. So then one day me and Skylar are driving to town, and we hit the center square of Hernando. And all of a sudden she catches my attention. She's like, Dad, look. And she points up as we're sitting at a red light. And across the way, there's a 3-story building kind of hidden back, and a big white sign, office lease, with a phone number. And that was new. I had not noticed that. And that has just been put up. And I wouldn't have noticed it probably, maybe eventually I would have, but Skylar noticed it immediately and pointed it out. I'm like, hell yes. I pulled off, took a picture of the phone number on the sign, called the next day and got the owner of the building, and the price was right. The size was right. It's a share space. So I'm like, man, I got to see it. And I knew I was going to get it. I already knew from how we talked, it was going to be something that I was going to be able to do and wanted it. Not only was the price where I imagined or what I really wanted it to be, but there's no other options. It was like, man, I got to jump on this while it's open. It was open a week. The sign was 1 week old up there. So I saw the place, met the guy. Owner's really nice. Place is very clean. It's a cool building. It's right downtown. It's prime location. And I was like, man, where do I sign? And that's what I did. So we signed that lease on last Monday, as I record this on July 5th. So I signed the lease on Monday, the 27th. And then so began the headache of red tape and getting zoned. So I had to get approved by the city to perform my business in this room. So I had to learn the hard way on the zoning. So you call the city and they ask you, well, where's the lease? And I give them the address, and they open up the building or open up this chart that has the whole city zoned out to different numbers and colors. And my building was C3. Okay. So then they ask you, well, what do you do? And I explained to them, podcast production agency. They're like, okay, what does that mean? I'm like, well, basically it's going to be an office with a desk and a table with microphones on it and some cameras. That's really it. They're like, okay, that sounds reasonable, but we got to check the zoning to see if that's part of it. I'm thinking podcast production agency is probably not very, common enough to be part of a zoning list. So sure enough, it's not in there. So technically, podcast production agency wasn't supposed to be allowed to operate in this office building, but they were super cool about it. And come to find out, that zoning allows for radio stations. So the radio saved the day. So they're like, oh, it's okay. We'll just consider you a radio station. And that was how they justified it. And they were super nice about it. I'm sure we would have managed to figure out a way to be able to operate legally, but got this permit, the zoning taken care of. And then the next part is moving my business from Tennessee to Mississippi. Man, that is such a pain in the butt, but it's getting taken care of. It's going to be a couple weeks before it finally moves over. I hired a service to help me with that. Yeah, so it's going to be a couple weeks before that. Basically what it does is you get a letter of good standing from Tennessee and some other documentations that tells Mississippi, yeah, this business is good, doesn't owe taxes, doesn't owe fines, it's in good standing. And then Mississippi then takes it and makes it a formation in Mississippi. And the reason why you want to do it that way is because then it holds the history of the business. Otherwise, if you just close a business and start a brand new one in the next state, you have to liquidate, dissolve all contracts and null and void. It just becomes a pain. So there's a way to, it's called domestication. You're domesticating your business. You're moving it from one state to the other. So I have some people that know what they're doing, helping me with that. The other aspect is the Treasury for federal taxes, your EIN number. That's super easy. I get to keep the same number, address change. So that's already done. And then at a city level, I had to get a city license. I just finally did that today. And the reason why that's a big deal is once I applied for the city license, then the final step is they send a fire marshal to do a fire inspection or just a general inspection. They check the fire extinguisher in the office space, and they ask me what I'm going to be doing in my room, and I'm like, it's just an office space. He was super nice too, but he has to sign off. Yes, you have passed your fire inspection. That at that point, then I can finally stop moving stuff in, and that's been the stressful part here is figuring out all the paperwork and red tape stuff. Meanwhile, I can't move in. I can't bring anything in until the fire marshal says yes. So that finally happened today, finally. And he said I could start moving stuff in even while my city business license is coming to me in the mail. And all of this is allowed to happen while my state formation is moving from Tennessee to Mississippi. But once we get through all this, then it's going to be awesome because I'll finally have a space. I've been living in Mississippi for 4 years now, and my business was still technically formation in Tennessee. But when you work from home, it's easier to just kind of fall through the cracks and not have to get zoning and city licenses, even though I technically was supposed to have a city license where I live. But hopefully no one's listening to that. That's in town. They could come after me. But now it's going to be tight. Awesome. So now that we can finally move in, now we can kind of, meaning me and Skylar, have our ideas and plans on how we want to place everything. And my mom now is involved. And she's going to be at least in the front end, helping me hang up a curtain. So let me show you some pictures. So we're going to do a little sharing again here. Let's pull up some pictures here. You get to see my desktop. How amazing is that? All right. So it's I think the fire marshal told me it was like a 250 some odd square foot room. Very modest, super clean. This is the north wall. This little kind of indented area here is where I'm going to have my office. I'm going to put my desk right here in the corner. And then shelving and whatever, printer, all this stuff to the left. And then that's a giant window that needs to be covered with a blackout curtain. So that way we can cut out light as much as possible, hopefully completely off of this window, because the podcast studio is also going to be video based. So I got studio lights already. So it's important to get the best lighting I can get. So in order to do that, I've got to black this out and then open it up when I don't need it anymore. Plus the curtain is going to act as a sound dampener, which is another key factor in this. And then, excuse me. So here is the south wall. The wall with the window is the east wall. This leads to a nice little back alleyway, which is really cool. Not an alleyway, I'm sorry. This is the second floor, so it takes you onto a staircase, stairwell area, and then you go down to the bottom level, and there's a little patio down there that you can go chill out at. It's really nice. I don't have the pictures of the other rooms with me, so as far as the kitchen and the share space stuff, I should have pulled those up. But so right here, this area right here is where the table is going to go for the podcast. And the cameras are going to be lined up here facing to the left, and then lighting behind it facing to the left. Hence why it's good to have a nice backdrop here or a curtain for the sound, but also it looks nice in the background. And then this bare space wall here and the wall here I'm going to be hanging up some foam panels that just stick to the wall, again, to help dampen the sound a little bit so it doesn't sound so echoey. And that's it. And then here's the west wall. And I'm going to figure something out that's going to go here. Skylar has an idea. She wants to make some paintings for me. And one of them she wants the SRP colors, the yellow and blue and white for Shelby Road Productions, and then the colors for the Real Hernando, which is more of like a brown, gold, black vibe. And then maybe let's go back over here. And maybe up here in this wall. Well, what I would love is if it was, Shelby Rose Studios, home of the Real Hernando podcast. It's a lot. That's a very busy, wordy sign, but that would be cool. Before I go here, I want to put things into perspective a little bit. And, obviously this is a big move. Like anything in business, it's a gamble. I have faith that I'm going to be able to provide a service for this room to not only, produce and host for my own podcasts in this video, but have people rent space or rent time from me, or they want me to produce their podcast. So then they have a place to record. There's a lot of ideas I have, and there's a lot of stuff that I can do now with this room that I've never been able to do. So that's all amazing. But then also the timeline of how I've been building. This is just special because I just hit my 3-year anniversary from being an actual licensed business. And let me show you some my original office, like my phases that my offices have gone through. So this is my first one here. And yeah, there it is. That's a white cart table. Skylar's little raccoon. This is Midtown Memphis, Tennessee. I live in a carriage apartment. So this big house up front is like on the main street, and that's been redone into a bunch of units, but it's like 100+ year old house. And then I'm on this little 400 square foot, 500 square foot studio apartment behind it. It's in essence 2 rooms and a kitchen. So if you could see right here, Like if you can see my mouse moving, right there is my couch. And right about here is my front door. And that's it. I started the business on that laptop, on that cart table. The next phase was this. Check it out, right? I mean, that's some high-end stuff right there. But it did its job. And, you know, I always have it so my music's kind of intertwined with it too. So I can play my guitars, you know, like right now. I got my guitar right here, just like that, right? But that chair was not comfortable. I'll tell you that right now. That was not a comfortable chair. And again, working on a little laptop can get old. But this is my bedroom in Olive Branch, Mississippi. And then this is what I have now, which is nice. This is still all Olive Branch, but it's exactly like I have here in my bedroom here in Hernando. It's pretty much the same thing. So you get an idea. So that is going to move into the space, but I'm not going to be in my bedroom anymore. Oh, it's going to be great. I'm not going to have a bed behind me when when I have meetings with potential clients and it's something that's important, I have a little backdrop I'll hang behind me. And it looks good and it looks professional and everything, but it's also a pain in the butt that I have to set it up specifically for a meeting. And then when I start working with a client and we're cool and we just kind of know each other now we're working partners, then I'm like, all right, who cares? Yeah, that's my bed. And I'm not as embarrassed to have them see my bed. But if I'm trying to land a big client, I want to look professional. Having a bed behind me and seeing my closet isn't the most professional. But now with having an office and I can set up something behind me to make it look a little more ambient and designed, it's going to be good. So 3 years in and I'm getting a space. Like I said, it's a risk. It's a 12-month lease. Some commercial leases have to be like 2, 3, 4 years. That was another deciding factor. I'm like, I can gamble this, 1 year. I think I can do that. So we're doing it. So I wanted to bring this up and kind of introduce this to you because now this is definitely going to be a big topic that I'm going to talk about more. I actually want to roll some video in there. So this is going to be a big thing. And it's cool that my mom is here to help and she's going to enjoy, already she's excited about helping me hang that big curtain up, which I need help with because I'm a dude that just doesn't know how to hang, anything up on the wall. Everything's crooked. Forget about curtains. Like I don't have curtains in my bedroom. I have a towel hanging on one corner so it blocks the street light in the parking lot. That way it doesn't hit me in the face. That's it. I just got a towel just wedged in the corner. But yeah, exciting stuff. And hopefully I want to keep up with this too, this channel and updating you all and just, treating it like a vlog here and be more active than I have been for the last few months. So that's it, y'all. I appreciate you guys as always, and we'll talk again soon. Bye.